And for more analysis and observation on the World Forum for Asia. And now joining me in the live is this beautiful lady, Vivian Jiang, who's the Vice Chair of Deloitte China. So Vivian, thank you so much for joining us. So what is your expectation on this year's World Forum for Asia? And what are some key messages do you have with you this time?
Yeah, each year I come to Boa, I actually feel I'm in a festive mode because you can hear a lot of positive message, particularly from the top leadership. So this year what I'm really looking for is a further open up of the China markets to the world. And China economy is one of the key energy sort of horsepowers for the world economy. So really open up of the Chinese market in a much even broader way really boosts the confidence level, not for the only for the Chinese consumers or businesses, and also around the world. The second thing what I'm really looking for is more of the bilateral and multilateral collaboration that China will have with many of the economies around the world. As President Xi is visiting Europe right now, there will be a lot of news that will be breaking and to be brought to the forum about how China will continue to work with many of the countries to really enhance the globalization, which is unstoppable train anyway. Really, the third one is continue to look for very strong domestic policies that China will be continue to enhance, ranging really from the tax cuts and then many of the fiscal policies, and also improving our doing business environment. These are all the ways that can really unleash the potential of the market and also the entrepreneurship, and adding more horsepower to the China economy, which in turn really will really boost the global economy.
Well, Vivian, we know the opening up reform is under spotlight not only in this year's World Forum for Asia, but also is actually dominating the agenda in China. And China not only talk the talk, but also walk the walk by implementing so many measures. And that being said, including the newly passed foreign investment law. And you, as a CPPCC member, was actually there to witness the whole thing. Yeah. So, what is your take on the overall implementation on China's opening up and reform policy and the new measures so far?
Yeah, this is obviously one of the most sort of exciting piece of legislation that came out recently, and I'm sure you can see that the market really shared the excitement and positiveness out of this foreign investment law, which is into the law already. I think what's really exciting about is many of the promises or response that President Xi and many of our top leaders has been saying to the world, and especially to foreign investors, are put into law, particularly around market access, around really protecting intellectual property, and around having a much sort of competitiveness in terms of doing business environment, easy to do business in China. So the law is a very condensed version, 41 provisions, but it really has some very strong messages, including protecting really foreign investment and promoting foreign investment, and really granting a fair and complete level playing field really for all the foreign investors to compete with the domestic market. So I think those laws actually putting a lot of challenges for the government, particularly around the provisions for provide services to support the foreign investors, and also have a dispute, so the resolution on complaints even. So these are all very good positive measures, and everybody is really looking forward to the detailed implementation rule, which I'm sure will come out very soon to put many of the provisions into action. But we're already seeing, for example, a lot of the market access provisions are already being sort of changed. For example, the lifting of the joint ventures on auto sectors and some of the FSI foreign ownership share to be increased. So really, as you said, walk the talk really, and to keep the promise and implement those promises will really put another sort of energy level to the investment. And we see many of the foreign investment continue to expand their operations in China. So all we see a very positive trend, and I'm looking forward to receiving many more positive messages from the foreign.
Well, as Vivian said, I think actually many of those reform and opening up measures are very hard to adopt. But it's this kind of hardship that I think conveys the commitment of China's, commitment in further opening up and reform. And that was also echoed by Li Baodong, who's the Secretary General of World Forum for Asia. And he said that we uphold globalization and free trade not because it is a fashion for us to pursue, but this is something that will benefit everyone. So, Maman, this is what we have here. Back to the studio.